Hello, my beautiful friends. My name is Kim, and I hope you're having a fabulous day today. If you are interested in true crime stories like I am, I hope that you consider hitting that subscribe button. But either way, thanks for being here. This is a story that is tragic from all ends. From a 19-year-old girl going missing in 2020 to a young mother and her son getting murdered in 2022. These seemingly unrelated cases have just one link between them: a South Carolina man named Tyler Wilkins. Have you guys heard of this guy? I don't think he's getting as much media coverage as it deserves. So today, we'll look deeper into the unsolved cases surrounding the disappearance of Jordan Nebling and the murder of Clarissa Winchester and her son. We'll also see how Tyler plays into it all and what might happen next. But first, a word from our sponsor. Thanks to MyHeritage for sponsoring today's video. I cannot express how excited I was during this sponsorship. I have always wanted to know more about my ethnicity. My results were surprising, and we'll get there. But a bit about MyHeritage is they are the #1 leading family history and DNA service out of Europe, and has made my experience so incredibly easy and so incredibly interesting. I'm not sure if I have PSD from the nose swab test, but this was not that at all. This test was so quick and, again, just easy. Like, I hate to just keep saying it, but honestly it was. You sign up first, of course, and then they send you the test. And here is how the test was done. You basically just unpack everything from your box, and then you register your number, which is on the back of the box, and it's also on the inside. So you just register the number, take out the first Q-tip, wipe it around the right side, you unscrew the vial, the liquid, the liquid vial, and then you just break off the Q-tip within the liquid and you twist the cap on. You repeat on the left side, bada bing, it's done. You put them in the envelope and then you drop them in the mailbox. Super easy. After it was mailed, I was able to track the progress of my sample online. And then at this time, I started building up my family tree. Once processed, I was able to discover my origin and background, and it matched me with some of my relatives. Okay, so this is a bit too personal, but I have to mention it. I've never met my dad. My parents were divorced when I was like 2 months old, and he just wasn't part of my life. So I know little about his side, and my mom does not talk about it. So when I saw the results of the test, I was floored. I am 49% English. You would think that I would speak it better, but then I was surprised that I was around, 24% Greek and Italian. It says Southern Italian and then regular Italian. I'm not sure what the difference is. But what's crazy is I always thought that I got my olive skin tone because I was Indian. I've been a fraud. I've been telling everybody it's actually Italian, which is crazy. And I don't know, it's kind of exciting. And then as you can see, there is a splash of Belkin. No idea what that is, but cool. Then you can click and see DNA matches. My niece showed up first, but I have a ton of cousins. And it looks like there is an option to contact them if you would like to. There is other features that I want to show you that are super cool. If you upload an old picture, it will colorize it. Look how cool this picture turned out. Also, you can enhance a photo to give it a better look. I've never seen this before, but what a nice bonus. If you would like to get started with MyHeritage and learn more about your heritage and your family DNA, then click the link in the description and use the code FLOWER for free shipping. Also, as a bonus, you can start a 30-day trial and enjoy 50% off if you decide to continue it. Don't miss this opportunity to get your DNA kit at a low price of only $39. That's unheard of. Thanks to MyHeritage for making today's video possible, and thanks to all of you for listening. This is a case that hasn't gone to trial yet, so everything in this case is alleged or my opinion. Our story begins in November 2020 when a 19-year-old girl named Jordan Nebling was reported missing by her parents in Cowpen, South Carolina. The last person to see Jordan was her boyfriend, Tyler. Apparently, Jordan's car had broken down in the middle of the night on October 9th. She was at the Old White House Road in Travelers Rest, South Carolina, and she called her boyfriend to pick her up. After this, Tyler took Jordan to his own home. The next morning, Tyler and Jordan got into some massive fight, and it ended with Jordan storming out of the house. Tyler claims that because of the argument, he didn't go after Jordan and chose to just stay back and let her cool down. He doesn't know where she went at this point. What he may or may not know is that this would be the last time he would ever see his girlfriend. Days pass by and Tyler received no call from Jordan. He assumed that the two had just broken up. He also didn't call Jordan's parents, who assumed she was just at Tyler's. Jordan's biological mother thought that she had just ran off and would eventually just show back up. She didn't file a missing persons report for her either. It's important to note that 19-year-old Jordan had a history of drug abuse. This led to a lot of people that were closest to her dismissing her disappearance. The only two people that were really concerned about her were her sister and also her stepmother, Tucker and Heidi. However, in the months prior to her disappearance, Jordan had gotten clean. Her sister Tucker recalled how Jordan finally passed a drug test and was able to get a stable job to support herself. Tucker claimed that Jordan had no enemies. She was loved by everyone around her. It wouldn't be until an entire month had passed that Jordan's stepmother, Heidi, would report her as a missing person. In her eyes, the prime suspect, none other than the 20-year-old boyfriend, Tyler Wilkins. After all, he was the last person to see her, and the argument between them may even act as a motive. Jordan's stepmother said that Tyler had to have known where she went. She alleged that Tyler was abusive to her stepdaughter Jordan and that he had a long criminal history and convictions, including aggravated assault, domestic violence, possession of a deadly weapon, and possession of stolen goods. Jordan's sister, Tucker, also believed that Tyler may have played a role in her disappearance as well. She was heard saying, "In my heart, I think he did something to her." He had a long history of being abusive, and police have searched his property. I know that they dug up a cement pad in his driveway that he had recently put down close to when she went missing. And I know that the police focused a lot on talking to him. But unfortunately, travelers, if you have a desire to go to Cowpen, South Carolina, this was a very, very remote area. However, the police weren't quick to point the blame at Tyler. They continued their search for the young woman, and in the meantime, they didn't name any primary suspect. The circumstances surrounding her disappearance weren't really that suspicious at first. She could have easily stormed off in anger somewhere without telling anyone. Because of this, the police waited for someone else to inform them about Jordan's whereabouts. They plastered pictures of her all over social media and the news asking for any leads. Tyler was not a suspect nor detained throughout this entire time. He was, however, questioned numerous times, but he mostly stuck to his story and didn't seem that suspicious in the eyes of the police. police. Jordan's parents were hopeful that someone would eventually speak up, give them a lead, or that Jordan would just show up herself. But that didn't happen. Weeks turned into months, and months turned into years. There was no sign of her. Jordan's stepmother described the whole process as torture. She saw a glimmer of hope when a new detective was assigned to the case in 2022, earlier this year. This detective dove in headfirst and re-looked at everything, all the clues, all the tips, the timeline, everything. And because of that, there began a new sense of urgency. The family pleaded with anyone who had knowledge of her whereabouts to come forward with any information that they had. A year and a half had passed, and with every passing day, the chances of this case being concluded were diminishing. The 5'5", strawberry blonde, 110-pound girl was still out there, somewhere in the eyes of the investigators. But as more time passed, even more suspicion grew that this wasn't just the case of a girl going missing on her own. Someone may had made her disappear. As we all know by now, Tyler Wilkins was suspicious in the eyes of Jordan's stepmother and her sister. But he wasn't formally charged with any crime at all. He may have had a history of legal troubles, but it did seem that he cared about his girlfriend, and at least the police thought so. Regardless, Tyler walked away from the whole drama and moved on to another relationship. He started dating a woman named Clarissa Winchester, a woman the same age as him, shortly after Jordan went missing. Tyler and Clarissa's relationship was rocky from the very beginning. Much of it had to do with Tyler allegedly being abusive to his new girlfriend. In December 2021, Tyler was charged and was arrested for attempting to murder Clarissa. High-intensity domestic violence, drug possession, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, endangering the life of an official, and throwing bodily fluids. The trial for this case is still ongoing, but Tyler was released after posting a $4,000 bond. Despite clearly showing signs of being abusive towards his partners, he still wasn't named as a suspect in the disappearance of his ex-girlfriend. On top of that, there's very little doubt in everyone's mind that Tyler may have been trying to murder Clarissa, considering the charges indicated that the police officer was actually present and was able to witness with their own eyes. So despite that, Tyler and Clarissa actually get back together after this incident. I almost just wish I could go back in time and just pull her aside and be like, no, Clarissa, no. Tyler continued to get into legal trouble following this. Eventually, Clarissa even got pregnant, and she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. It was Tyler and hers first child. Clarissa was apparently very excited about having a baby. According to family and friends, they said that she was over the moon excited. She was looking forward to being a mother, and this could have possibly been the beginning of her and Tyler's mending their problems and working together as parents. Because we all know that when you have a troubled relationship, having a baby solves all that. The couple didn't really interact much with other family members. At one point, Clarissa started to completely ghost anyone around her. She barely spoke to her own parents anymore, and it seemed like Tyler was the only person she was in contact with. The rocky relationship would come to a tragic end in November of 2022. Yes, this case is that new. I'm doing this at the end of the month in November. This happened at the beginning of the month. So You guys are not going to believe this. He's out on bond, so keep that in mind. He got bond for $4,000. Deputies at the Greenville County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call regarding a missing adult female. Clarissa is believed to have been reported missing by her family a few days prior. The call said that the missing woman was inside a house on Sawmill Road, and it belonged to one of Tyler's relatives. As soon as the police arrived at the residence, they found the body of 22-year-old Clarissa Winchester and her newborn son. Clarissa's face was completely bruised and battered. It's believed that she was repeatedly beaten by someone. The cause of her death was determined as blunt force trauma. The baby's cause of death was undetermined. Tyler Wilkins was immediately arrested after the two bodies were found. He was charged with murder, kidnapping, and unlawful neglect of a child. According to the police reports, the suspect locked Clarissa inside the relative's home and repeatedly assaulted her until he eventually killed her. The report also claimed that Clarissa was cornered by Tyler throughout this assault, as if he wouldn't let her leave, hence the kidnapping. Since the police weren't able to determine whether the baby was directly hurt by Wilkins or not, he was not charged for murder regarding his death. Instead, police charged him with unlawful neglect of a child for failing to take care of him following the death of Clarissa. The investigators claimed that Tyler did not seek any medical attention for his child from the way things seemed. They believe that they have significant evidence to eventually charge him for the murder of his child as well, but we'll have to see what happens next. Wilkins appeared before a judge a few days later, and Clarissa's father, Michael Winchester, told the judge to hold him without any sort of bond.
If you give this board the opportunity to sit back like me, we already know not only is it capable, but statistically, he is most likely to commit this crime again.
He didn't want him to have a chance of being released. Keep in mind, Tyler was already out on bail after allegedly trying to murder Clarissa less than a year prior to this. Before that, he had been charged with numerous other crimes. It's hard to deny that he was already a danger to his girlfriend and their son.
Domestic violence situation where I dropped charges where he had actually fired a gun at me and Clarissa standing together.
As of right now, the case is still ongoing, even though according to police reports, much of the evidence points the blame towards Wilkins. He's still seen as innocent before he's proven guilty. He's currently being held at the Greenville County Detention Center without bond. If he's convicted of these charges, he could be sentenced to death, according to the South Carolina law. Following their daughter's murder, Michael and Melinda started a GoFundMe to pay for their daughter and their grandson's funeral. The GoFundMe reached its goal of $5,000 within days of it being posted. But this apparent murder started to raise new questions surrounding the disappearance of Jordan over 2 years prior. Both Clarissa and Jordan were reported missing after they apparently had relationship scuffles with Tyler. While Clarissa's body may have been found, leading to police charging Tyler with the murder, Jordan's whereabouts are still unknown. Following Clarissa's murder, Tyler still wasn't charged with any crime relating to the disappearance of Jordan. Her case is still being seen as a missing persons case, and Tyler himself hasn't said anything regarding Jordan to the police after he was arrested. If Tyler was involved with the disappearance in any way, it would make this story even more tragic. Had the police taken the warnings of Jordan's stepmother and sister seriously, Tyler would have been arrested earlier, and he would have never even met Clarissa. There are people who believe all of this could have been avoided, but still it's too early to jump to conclusions right now. One of the main reasons why so many people believe Tyler did it is because the police are actually taking the case seriously this time around. They're already gathering so much more evidence against him, and they're simply waiting to present it in court. This is the same police force that wasn't even willing to charge Tyler with a single crime after the disappearance of his ex-girlfriend, Jordan. But even if Tyler is convicted of all of his charges, there still is a chance that the disappearance of Jordan Nebling may never be solved. After 2 years, the only way it could be solved is if Tyler outright confesses to it, and that's most likely not going to happen. He's only been charged with the murder of Clarissa, and that's the only crime he would likely confess to if that was the case. So unless Tyler comes clean about his entire past as part of a plea deal of sorts, it's unlikely that we'll ever know what happened to Jordan. But you guys let me know what you guys think about this case. I just read this and I was like, wow, I have not seen much about this case at all. And I know it's still pretty new. What I really wanted to accomplish in this video is just to get Jordan's face out there. Just maybe somebody's seen something. It's a rural area, so I'm not really sure. But I thought, well, it's worth a chance and it's an interesting case in itself. And of course, I'll do some updates as more information is available. Let's leave a yellow heart for Clarissa and Jordan and their family. This one man destroyed not one family, but 2 families, in my opinion. I hope that the family for Jordan gets some answers, because I know that's got to be just heart-wrenching. The unknown. I mean, it's gut-wrenching, the fact that Clarissa's life is no longer, but you know, the unknown too. Oh, gosh, it's either way you look at it, they're both terrible. But with that, thanks to all my channel members and my Patreons who continue to support me. You guys make it possible for me to do these videos. If you would like early access to new videos and decide on which cases I cover next, you can do so by clicking the join button from your desktop, or there's a video in the description box on how to do it from your phone. Well, if you guys have made it to the end, you guys are stars, and I love you to death. There are more true crime stories in my Crimey Cases playlist for you to check out. Stay safe, my loves, and remember, if you see something, say something, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.